What do you call when you put in a lot of effort with a blunt instrument? Going hammer. Hey, you, what you gonna do? Well, what I'm gonna do is welcome you back to another off-the-meta Warframe build. Today, I want to show off another wacky setup, this time with the Arca-Titron. The adorable Electro Smash Hammer with a heart of Jolt. Hopefully, it'll even be Steel Path viable, with a little help. Before I get too long into the tooth on this intro, let's start getting those mods in. First off, Condition Overload. I'll be priming my targets with status using another weapon. That way I can concentrate on crit stats such as by using Sacrificial Steel. I'll also be utilizing Corrupt Charge. That way heavy attacks are guaranteed that 2x multiplier. To take advantage of those heavy attacks, I've of course got Killing Blow. Organ Shatter is going to augment the heavy attack damage even further. Before I get to the linchpin mod of this build, go ahead and throw in a couple of elemental mods. I'd suggest leaning into corrosive, viral, or gas damage to use Primed Fever Strike. Lastly, Seismic Wave. It's going to boost slam attack damage by 200%. You might be asking, why bother with this really situational mod? Well, that's because the Arca-Titron has a special ability called Slam Capacitor. It increases slam damage by 100% for each stack, applies shock procs, and according to the Warframe wiki, also increases the range for each stack. Now, you can use a lot of weapons alongside this bad boy, but I'm going to suggest the Tysis. It's an oft-forgotten weapon, but offers one of the highest status chances of all secondaries. So let's build this bad boy out too. First off, obviously, Hornet Strike for damage, Barrel Diffusion for multi-shot, along with Lethal Torrent for the same reason. After that, there's Augur Seeker. This is fairly important because you want those statuses to stay on your enemies for a while as you wind up your attacks. After that, Sure Shot for a significant status boost. After that, there's 3 spots for elemental mods. Personally, I'm using 160-60, a 90 elemental, and primed heated charge. Depending on what you're fighting, you'll probably want to mix those up for the faction. Lastly, if you've cracked your Wexler slot, there are 2 options I suggest. Lethal Momentum will send out your little darts faster, or you could go with Eject Magazine, so you spend no time reloading. You just swap back and forth in order to status and swing. Status and swing. Using this build is pretty self-explanatory, but in case it isn't, I'll lay it out. First, prime an enemy with a Tysis. Heavy attack with the Arca-Titron. Build up that sweet slam capacitor with those kills. When it's full and you see something in need of some smiting, prime them, switch to the hammer, and then smash them all the way into a Looney Tunes movie about basketball. As for how I came across this build idea, I've had it for a few weeks now. Hell, I was even starting to experiment with it before a buddy shared a video about the Arca-Titron and Seismic Wave. I could have just left it alone after that, but I figured, it's only talking about the mod and isn't a full build. Anyways, I did some testing on Steel Path and decided it needed a little bit more oomph, which is where the addition of Condition Overload instead of Triple P came in, as well as using the Tysis. I've been wanting to use the Tysis for something ever since the buffs to status, since it's one of the best status pistols ever. Anyways, that's just about everything I have for today. So with the build done, shoot some needles, strip their armor, practice T-ball, smash some ribs. Ribs. Jump into the sky and sing the theme song to the better of the 2 live-action Looney Tunes.